Alrighty guys, here we go. We got another game for you all tonight. It is Imperial Esports versus the Imp Crowns. Alright, it looks like Imp Crowns going to be on the red side. Imperial Esports is going to be on the blue. So get another game. Let's get to know some of the players. Let's just do just that one. There we go. Let's do one of these guys. Look at that. We have the technology. Alright. And so, looking at the banning phase here, pretty... let's see, look at the bans. Trundle coming out from the blue side. That's a... I feel like a pretty high up there on the ladder ban now. I feel like it's a very good one to put out. Although, it did ban that after the Mundo and Tom Kench. So, with a lot of the heavy hitters already taken out, sort of questionable. Taking out the Gragas for afraid of some of the team play. Oops, sorry, I got some of the stream is cut off here. Let's get this thing worked out. What's going on here? Why are we missing out on so much of the screen? It's weird. Let's go back to this one. Alright, sorry about that. Stream stuff is done. Let's turn off this music in between. And back to the action. Imperial Esports versus the Imperial Crowns. First pickups here, we have the flex pick coming out of Imperial Esports. Shen, possibly either top or support. Seems like to be a little bit more of a top character now. Don't see him a whole lot in the support role, but doesn't mean it can't come out. Imperial Crown grabbing up the Alistar and Lee Sin. Super heavy hitting early game team here already. And with a lot of the late game tanks taken out with Trundle, Gragas, and Tom Kench, they're really setting themselves up for success already. Imperial Esports hovering over the Ezreal here. Definitely going to be a good pick in order to position himself without having to worry about a lot of his teammates to really try to save him. So they can really have a dive comp with this Rek'Sai and the Shen to be able to dive in there on purple team, in a red team, get onto their damage dealers, and stay safe and get a lot out of this. So let's see if that really is to Imperial Esports' benefit. Yeah, so out of Imperial Crown, they really got to pull out probably some mid to heavy damage, because Lee Sin is going to be doing moderate to high damage depending on how he builds. Probably going to go sort of the tankier side after picking up a damage item or two. So really, I'm guessing we're probably going to have, I would guess maybe a Tristana from AD Carry. Something that they can really either go for a full engage with a Tristana and really get that kite and collapse, or they can have sort of a stay back AD Carry and go with like a Misfortune with the disengage that can come with an Alistar, as well as the kick away from a Lee Sin. A Misfortune is really going to help them, especially with that early game advantage, and they're going to be able to get a whole lot done in a very small amount of time. And they do decide to go ahead with the Misfortune, as well as the Malphite combo. So again, this Wombo is really starting to ramp up from here. The only thing left to really concrete the full Wombo combo is throw an Orianna in the mid lane. And you got yourself a bona fide Wombo combo team. So Imperial Crown have a very clear mindset that they want to start early to mid game, really start dominating. Whereas on Imperial Esports, they're looking more towards an engage comp, which it's kind of nice because both of these teams are going for a really heavy engage and a Wombo combo. It's really all going to be based off of mechanics and positioning, as well as the macro play, catching these guys off guard. So far, it's really going to turn the tide of the way this game goes. And looks like they decide to go ahead and throw Shin in the top lane with Nautilus in the bot lane. Colombian Deft is going to be playing him. and they're going to throw the Ahri in the mid lane. So the assassination potential to really make they're going to have the Ahri in the mid lane, have that charm available, able to start the pick off, or they can start it off with the Nautilus dredge line or the taunt from Shen, or even they can engage off of the Rek'Sai on Boro. So a lot of tools in their kit here in order to start these fights off, and a lot of follow-up, because after one of these starts, it's just going to be a cascading effect with the charm, the Nautilus dredge line, and all of the ones that I talked about earlier are just going to one on top of the other, and they're going to have a hard time defending this misfortune here. They're really going to have a... I think an Orianna here would actually be a really good pick with as far as controlling the team, or a Victor. I always forget that as a good control mage. That's going to put out a lot of damage. Victor here, a great pickup from Imperial Crown. Both of these team comps, really impressive. You can see how they banned away the Thresh. I think was a really good ban from Imperial Crown. That could have definitely put a hook into some of their plays. Yeah. And from Imperial Esports, a Trundle. Obviously now we didn't take out all the super tanky champs, as we can see from the Rek'Sai. Sorry, not the Rek'Sai. That's the worst example on their team. Not the worst, but the Shen and the Nautilus. Those would really be crippled from a Trundle ultimate. But yeah, we are going to see Shen in the top lane on Rengar. Man, these names are going to be a little difficult. Norms, AJ, Colombian Deft, all making up Imperial Esports. Merch Pudu, Ibis, Master Dunzo, and Sailor Venus. Man, that's a good name. Making up Imperial Crown. So exciting game, guys. I'm going to take a little brief break here, and I will be right back to cast what looks like it's going to be a really exciting game. Alrighty guys, here we go. Moving into the game here. Imperial Crown on the red team. Like I said, Merch in the top lane on Nautilus. Poodoo bringing the jungle on Lee Sin. Ibis controlling the mid lane there on Victor. Master Dunzo. Bullet Timon down in the bot lane on Misfortune. And Sailor Venus for the Stars down in bot lane on Alistair. On Imperial Esports, Norm's, Rennar. There we go. That's easy to say. Rennar up on the top lane on Shen. Norms there in the jungle on Rek'Sai. Colombian Deft, the Brazilian AD carry there in the mid lane. AJ on Ezreal there in the bot. And rounding out the team, it's the Boy Wonder on Nautilus. Man, great names all around. Well crafted. So like I said, with these team comps, both of these really excel around the same time. So really, like these teams are going to clash really hard. It's really, from Champ Select, it's really hard to pick a clear winner. So let's see really where they come ahead. It's going to be interesting. Both of them decide to take a pretty defensive start. No invades, nothing going on. Nothing like the last game that we watched here. So both teams decided to take Krugs. A little interesting that Lee Sin is going against the invade. Not exactly the easiest invade, but not the hardest either on the Lee Sin, but going to play it safe. Especially with the collapse and all the CC from the bot lane here. I can see it being pretty scary. Looks like both top laners having a little bit of a hard time with... See, actually, they only missed CS one apiece. Overly critical. Ooh, let's organize this bot right here. Sorry about that. Good, so this makes sense. There we go. Excuse me. Imperial Crown had their stuff together, setting up their team in the right order. Boy Wonder going in there on Sailor Venus, able to connect with the dredge line. Gets the root, and AJ is able to put down a little bit of damage from a distance. Venus grabs another arcane shot to the mystic shot, excuse me, to the mouth. Poodoo makes his first gank there in the mid lane. Gets Def down quite a bit of damage and is able to force him out of lane. That's really going to put Ibis there at an advantage, and one that he desperately needs. Because like I said, that matchup is going to be fairly even, especially if he's able to hit 6 first. That's going to be very crucial there in the mid lane. If Dest is able to get even a little bit of a XP advantage, it could spell disaster for him. But Ibis is able to shove it all the way in the turret. Poodoo there makes his way to the bot lane. Throws a resonating strike there on the Boy Wonder. Boy Wonder collects with the dredge line, able to get to the wall and move himself out safely. Overall, two great ganks coming out of Poodoo. It really putting the early game pressure from Lee Sin there on display. Some more exciting CS coming. CS advantages, still none outright coming out. However, we do have Merch pushing in here pretty hard into the top lane. I can't see the Keystone Masteries, but I believe we have the gosh, what's it called? Can't remember the name of it. Anyway, the one that steals life. Both of them have it, making it a fairly evenly sustaining top lane, with probably a little bit in Shen's favor with his Q, the Vorpal Blade, excuse me. And we see the advantage is starting to already move into Rednar's into his favor, having the massive sustained advantage, and Merch just kind of shoved in the lane, really trying to put the pressure on him to get him on a turret to miss CS, and it's worked against him, and he is now he has a third of Rednar's gold up there in the top lane. We're really going to start having a difficult time, especially if Shen gets ahead. If Shen gets ahead, he's going to be able to trade the damage back more so on the Merch than he can. Ibis is landing his poke there in the mid lane. On to Deft. CS still fairly even there. But overall, it seems like we do have an advantage moving towards Imperial Esports. Putting them up about 4K, excuse me, almost 5K gold from CS alone. In every lane we have a CS advantage, except for jungle. But yeah, looks like we have a red side jungle, excuse me, Imperial Crown's jungle is pretty much cleared out. So now it's perfect time for Pudu to go in and make a gank here. Threw off the resonating strike first. Gets in there on a Rennar, and he's able to move out fairly easily. Yeah, you really got to start those Lee Sin ganks with the cripple. Definitely missed out there. Another resonating strike coming in from Pudu. But we had IE Norms waiting in the wings for the counter gank. But Pudu and Merch are able to move out safely. I don't believe Pudu, he really doesn't have the time to sit up here and waste. Probably going to move back into the jungle. Get a little bit of gold. Boy Wonder not able to connect with the dredge line there. He does get the root onto Sailor Venus. And he takes a little bit of damage for it. But with combination of masteries as well as Alistar's heal, going to stay fairly healthy there in the bot lane. Not a lot of action going to come out here fairly soon, except for on the side of Imperial Crown. That's really because Misfortune's double up along, coupled with the creep death, is going to increase the damage significantly and really start to turn the poke in the favor of their side in bot lane. Again, a very uninteresting CS match here in top lane. Not a lot they can do with the creep line there, especially with its interesting mechanic, the Misfortune into the Nautilus. She's able to position her. She wants to position herself behind creeps in order to get that extra double up damage, and that's exactly countering the way that Boy Wonder wants to play, getting into her face. We do have a pause here for lag, of course. DC. Okay. Unfortunate. Here comes the DDoS. Yeah. So we see right now the top lane advantage, CS advantage, is pretty massive. Shen hasn't had a Rennar hasn't had a chance to go back and really capitalize on this, but it really doesn't have to. He's got this sustained for days, as well as Norms has a tunnel fairly close down there. He's got one fairly close to topside. If he did have to come up and try to protect him from the unstoppable force coming from Merch, he doesn't exactly have all the damage to dive him underneath turret, but it is fairly close. I think more than likely with a taunt right after the unstoppable force, that Merch would have enough, enough defenses in order to stave off a full turret dive from him. But we'll see what decision he makes. He's continually forcing it, but he's kind of got himself frozen right in front of his turret. Merchant doesn't really want to stay there. He wants to let it come back in. We got a flash coming in from Sailor Venus. Pudu right there in the perfect time. Gets his resonating strike down just as the flash comes in. And then Merch comes in with the teleport to follow the Shen stand united. Ooh, Columbia of Death takes the storm coming down from, the Chaos Storm, yes, coming down from Victor. Renard's got... Ooh. Renard had the taunt down on the Sailor Venus, but the dredge line wasn't able to connect onto both of them. and really make something happen. So Imperial Crown is able to move out there. We've got a lot of members down here on bot lane. 4 people down bot. Parties down bot lane. It's a nightmare for AD carries. Norm's doing a little bit of trolling. It looks like with this 4-man advantage here, oh, and Rednar took the time to go teleport top lane. Seeing this, Imperial Crown is going to try to capitalize on this and grab this first dragon buff. A futile attempts to steal from Imperial Esports as they grab it up. So the small advantage here coming out from Imperial Crown. Excuse me, just the dragon advantage. The gold there still at about a 7k or 700 gold deficit. Not really a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. The damage is really going to be what's going to help them. So if they lose this tower here, going to put them pretty much almost a full item behind. The amount of gold that Shen is sitting on right now is pretty massive. He's going to be able to finish Sunfire. Probably going to go for an early Spear Visage with all the magic damage coming from the other team. We'll see what he decides to do with all that gold. Pretty hefty amount that each side is sitting on. Even this Misfortune down in, Mr. Master Dunzo down in bot lane was sitting on quite a bit, but he's going to go back and grab most of the components for Essence Reaver and try to stabilize this CS disadvantage that he has down in bot lane. Merch still trying to make something happen, but Bernard just has all of the sustain involved to really keep himself healthy. Imperial Esports coming through. We got a little bit of a collapse coming through. Oh, and there we go. Columbium Def coming through just in time with a dash into the charm, and they grab Poodoo. Even though he made quite it was a very good attempt to try to get out of there with his safeguard into the flash out, but still wasn't able to close enough distance for Def to be able to get in and grab that kill in the end. Oh, excuse me. Too much action, I can't even take a drink. Merch goes in with a flash unstoppable force. But with only the Cinder, the Bami's Cinder, right? Yeah, Bami's Cinder, not really putting a lot of damage down. So Deft is able to just walk right on out of it. So Ibis looking at himself at trying to get some of the CS advantage with only his upgraded Hex Core. And wow, Deft sitting on an Abyssal Scepter already finished. Pretty impressive. So an Abyssal Scepter definitely going to be a good choice against any damage that Merch might put out eventually. And we're going to trade flashes there in mid lane as Rednar tries to flash in, get a taunt there on Ibis. But he was aware and saw it coming a mile away. Got to be a little bit quicker on that. Ooh, and a very clutch pull miss from Boy Wonder on the Master Dunzo. That could have spelled almost certain death for Misfortune, but he wasn't able to quite get it in time. Rednar just going to throw down a little bit of poke, push him back in the lane. As Merch was able to close a lot of that CS gap as Rednar moved around the map to try to make something happen in mid lane. Merch was slowly working on there, goes back to try to even a little bit of the advantage, pulling a lot of armor, which is a little strange, moving right into something like a Sunfire Cape against a heavily magic damage team, with Nautilus pulling out some residual magic damage, a little bit from Ezreal as well. Oh, here we go, we got the engage going on. Sailor Venus gets the perfect knock-up coming down, and Master Dunzo just a little late on the bullet time. Throw Boy Wonder back in, but he's just too far into everything, and he doesn't take the flash in fast enough. And he's able to come out. IE Norm's coming in here, trying to finish out this Lee Sin, but he's able to not get enough damage. He jumps into 3 people. excuse me, 4 after Merch teleports in there. And Stand United was still down. We weren't able to get anything out of that engage, and Imperial Crowns really is able to turn that around very well. Or not really turn it around, they really had it the whole time. But able to not lose that advantage from Pudu's gank there on Lee Sin. That was a great job. Still keeping his early game pressure up as we move here into mid-game. Bot lane tower should be pretty close to finish, and there we go. Try to let it clear as... I guess I didn't really let it clear that many creeps. We're going to let it through, and we still have Rennar just being a pest here, pushing top lane. Since Merch tried to make something happen bottom. A little interesting there. Without any CDR, that's going to be a fairly big cooldown. Down for Imperial Crowns for quite a while. Especially with this Stand United going to be up soon. He can shove this lane in again, make a Stand United teleport, and really make a play across the map, and then teleport back to his lane in order to push it back into their turret. So really, they're going for a pure split pushing Shen here. Well, without any damage, he's going to be great in the team fights as well. Oh, Undying Grasp. That's the name of that mastery. That's what we're looking for. So yeah, again, a little bit of a slap fest. I would put it definitely more into Rennar's favor with him having the Spirit Visage already completed. AJ already has the Iceborne Gauntlet done. Just throwing down the Qs on Sailor Venus. Oh, and Boy Wonder is able to connect the Dredge line. And look at that, like I said before, one Dredge line connect takes down about 70% of Dunzo's health. He was almost Dunzo there. But team was there in time to move him out of the way. Okay, I'm not sure why the camera keeps going to top lane. This CS Fest is not... Ooh, AJ lands the initial Iceborne Gauntlet proc. But Dunzo's able to flash away in time. Pudu catches a charm to the face. But is able to safeguard Tybus in time. And looks like this is going to be the first dragon secured here for Imperial Esports. They're going to try to move their gold advantage into even more of a stat advantage. Pudu moves in time. Ooh, but is not able to connect with the steal. Oh, wow, and a beautiful stop there from Boy Wonder. Grabs the Drudge line on a Misfortune mid-double time. And Imperial Esports is still going to be moving in here. Grabs the charm down on Sailor Venus. Throws down the knock-up. Is not enough to get him out of there. And Imperial Esports with a follow-up, one after another, just really piling down on Imperial Crown. That rhymes. And turn that dragon into even something more. Looks like we could even see a mid lane turret drop down from here. So it goes from a 2k gold lead, just sort of skyrockets up into even more. Just sort of trying to keep Merch off of him. Looks like he did successfully stop this tower this tower take. Great job from him in order to itemize there enough. And we do have Imperial Esports. Most of them are going to be back probably quite a bit of money after this past engage. Yeah, we got a lot sitting on Rennar in the top, and AJ is also sitting on enough to complete Manamune. That's probably what we'll see from him here. And now with Manamune and Iceborne Gauntlet completed, he's going to have, I would say, just as much, if not enough damage. Oh, he decides to boots 2 instead. A little bit questionable with his advantage being so far up onto Master Dunzo. Me personally, I would have finished the Manamune, but he's going to try to go here and keep with the Boots Ionian. The Ionian Boots of Lucidity, and have that extra cooldown to keep pumping out his CC, the Mystic shots coming down, and really keep down Master Dunzo. We got the flash coming in here from Boy Wonder, and just the little bit of damage from Norms and Boy Wonder is able to take down Master Dunzo. Just a slight misposition right there. Wasn't fully ready to take everything Imperial Esports is willing to throw at him. And we got AJ constantly throwing down the Mystic shots, even with the Sunfire Cape. Still a lot of that damage moving through. And we got the Siege coming back up through here, through the mid lane. Although the Victor Laser is really putting a damper on the siege attempt they're trying to make here. But they do still have... There's a Shen down in bot lane.
Pushing it out, being an annoying split pusher that he is. He has Stand United as well as teleport up. Were anything to happen here, he could still Stand United into lane, stop a team fight, and then keep split pushing bottom lane. This bot lane turret is almost surely going to fall. And that'll probably push them to the 3k gold advantage. Boy Wonder finds the dredge line onto Pudu. Safely safeguards. Wow, really? He safeguards back into his team. Everybody's on Imperial Crown is collapsing here on Boy Wonder. We have the Shen ultimate come in and they're not able to stop it. Ooh, a taunt on 3. Able to take out Ibis just in time with the bullet time, as well as the storm. The Chaos Storm is able to go down. Pudu gets in there on a Columbia Death, but doesn't get the cripple off in time and pays for it with his life. Oh, the perfect timing! Boy Wonder moves in with the perfect dredge line through everything on to Master Dunzo. And that's all the damage dealers down on Imperial Crown. Wow, really, why are all of these rhymes coming out of this? Anyway, like Dr. Seuss here. So Imperial Crown doesn't... It's a 3-for-3 trade, but with most of the deaths going to be on their damage dealers, we're going to have a little bit of a goal advantage coming over here for Imperial Esports as they move it up to 2.5k advantage. And AJ here just being a pest, throwing off the constant Mystic shots. We see the cooldown on this being absolutely ridiculously low. We're going to have constant damage onto both of those tanks there. And we saw right there that even with the full combo, they were able to pull out quite a bit of damage, but we're seeing that slight gold deficit, as well as the itemization from Rednar, as well as Deft there in the mid lane. The Chaos Storm wasn't able to do enough damage for them for that bullet time to finish everybody off, since they built that defensive stats, thus weakening their main wombo combo damage. So it looks like the skirmish sort of pick comp that they have here on Imperial Esports is definitely paying off really well. Again, a battle of the giants here in top lane. Merch going to try to make something happen, but that Undying Grass proc on Rednar is just going to keep him incredibly healthy. However, now that Merch does have that Spirit Cowl, Spectre's Cowl, excuse me, he's going to be able to sustain quite a bit up here and not take quite as much damage as he was previously. And with the added bonus of the Sunfire Cape, able to push that lane very easily into Rednar's tower. Although he's not able to bounce it quite correctly, and Rednar keeps it off the tower to keep the CS. But Imperial Esports just can't seem to get into range of this tower in order to siege it and take it out. Oh, and the perfect timing! Great job from Boy Wonder, able to get in there again, following up on the charm from Deft. Gets in there and puts down the damage, takes out Pudu. Damages Dunzo quite a bit. Dreadline again coming out from Boy Wonder, grabs Ibis there on Victor. Rednar moves in just in time in order to let AJ get that final kill down. Ult not up on Ezreal anymore, used it in the last engage. So Ibis is going to be out safely. But they're going to, looks like, probably lose a tier 2 turret on Imperial Crown. Except for the teleport coming down from Merge is going to successfully stop that. No unstoppable force yet to really make something happen, but he's moving in his range, gets rooted in place, and the amount of CC coming out is going to leave him stumbling back. But it looks like Sailor Venus must be getting his connection from Sailor Moon, because he can't seem to stay in line, stay in the game. Back in a second. Let's look at some of the third world connections. Some of the item builds coming out here. We have, oddly enough, the Tracker's Knife coming out of Rek'Sai and not on the Lee Sin. So Pudu is going through with virtually no wards, completely relying on his team in order to let him safeguard out of situations that could prove to be his downfall later on in this game when we see him sort of get caught in sticky situations with no way out. Merch here is starting to, he has a respectable score line and has even gotten some really nice unstoppable forces coming out, but really the damage that is being lacked from this misfortune, as well as Master Dunzo on Misfortune and Ibis on Victor is really making these team fights very difficult for them, since Imperial Esports decided to go more defensive early. Looks like we are starting to get the readies up from each team. And here we go, back in the game. We'll have Merch stumbling back. Kudu giving him a little bit of a safety hug. Imperial Esports is picking towards the Dragon. Seems like a logical take with Merch being at less than half health, as well as Ibis. Could be an easy take, but their team, everyone being underneath half health, definitely a little risky to go for the Dragon. So they're just going to let Dragon go up to Imperial Crown. And they're going to grab that with that failed blue steal from AJ. Ibis is able to grab the blue. So our ward line here, we have Imperial Crown has heavy warding on the bot side of Imperial Crown's jungle. We could see them look to take either mid lane or bot lane tier 2 turret next, with mid lane being the one with the most damage down on it. Just trying to establish vision dominance right now out of both sides. We have, it looks like, overall, defensively in the favor of Imperial Crown. They got their jungle warded up fairly well. As well as that entrance to Dragon. There's a significant amount of wards in front of Dragon. I guess they're really afraid of the Dragon take. And with the amount of damage coming out from Imperial Crown, I don't think they would have enough time to go for a Baron while they Dragoned. So, ooh, Def just misses the charm there on Merch. Norms is going in, grabs the Unburrow. They're able to get the damage down, and Merch doesn't really have anything to Unstoppable Force backing into. So he really is just forced to crawl his way back out of this engage. And there we go. We have the Banner Command down on the bot lane. Great pickup by Boy Wonder. And Imperial Esports is really going to try to get some damage down here on this tier 2 bot turret. So I was going to try using this directed camera, but it is no bueno. Not a fan. Excuse me. So Imperial Esports, again, sort of staying as an unstoppable unit here in the bot lane. Even as 4 people, Imperial Crown is afraid to make an engage on them, which could be... It definitely would be in their best interest to get something off. They knew this whole time that Rednar was pushing the top lane, but they still, like... They're going into mid lane, not exactly pressuring an advantage, just sort of push the minions in a tower and go back because they know Shen's top. They know right now that their team isn't all together. But they also do know that the Stand United is also up. So it's a difficult call to make to get into these engages when they know that any minute that Shen can be back into it. And with Merch's TP being down, they know they don't have that Unstoppable Force ready. So they're really forced to just play incredibly defensively unless they have a 5-man unit. This Banner of Command, again, paying off quite a bit as they're able to stay in mid lane tier 2 turret and siege off quite a bit of health from it. That Banner Command minion did quite a bit of work. Not to mention that's going to give Boy Wonder a little bit of a AP boost as well. Excuse me. So again, we're just going to keep the siege going on here mid lane. Even though Ibis is able to clear these waves fairly easily. Boy Wonder, a little bit of a miscommunication there. We had Deft move back. He jumped in on the dredge line. Merch wasn't able to hit anybody but AJ on the Unstoppable Force. Renarg moves in, gets a taunt on both of our damage dealers. Boy Wonder with the dredge line and the stun, excuse me, and the root. But not able to completely take out Master Dunzo, but they do have them heavily crippled and moving back into base, and this tier 2 turret is going to be an easy pickup from Imperial Esports. After this, I'd say they have quite a bit of money in the bank, and they do. So finished items all around from Imperial Esports. We'll probably see AJ here finish up his Lord Dominic's regards, and he does. Next, let's see, what can we call? Looks like more defensive stats out of Norms, more than likely moving into a Randuin's Omen next. Renar picking up the Jarm's Fist, probably into a, could be a Frozen Mallet, or he could even move into the Hydra for a little bit extra damage. Oh, and with that bead, almost certainly is going to be the Titanic Hydra from that. So that's going to add a little bit more of a damage threat to their team. And with virtually all the tanks in their team having some offensive stats, really this is going to start pushing this time in the game even more into Imperial Esports' favor, with the offensive stats already piling up, and Imperial Crown just struggling to stay into this. We're really going to need a clutch set of CC to come out with Merch's Unstoppable Force and our headbutt combo to come in from Sailor Venus. That's really what it's going to take to turn the tide of this game. But one ace is all it's going to do. This game is still close enough. A little over a 5k gold lead in Imperial Esports' favor. Plenty of time for them to catch up. We had AJ a little bit early there on the ultimate. Ooh, and Renar wasn't able to get in there in time. Another DC. DDoS is strong tonight. Lots of connection failures. Especially in Canada being a third world country. That explains it. So once it's downtime, we'll take a look at item builds again. We have, we'll look at Imperial Crown. We got, Ibis was able to finish his Luden's Echo, as well as he has the, I believe, second to last iteration on the Hex Tech, the Hex Core. Going to move into a Leandri's next, with it being a pretty heavy team. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the game, they had that Trundle band out, so a lot of the tank counters have been taken out of the game. So this is going to force Ibis to try to build a Leandri's Torment in order to counteract the heavy health stacking that they have coming out, heavy health as well as armor that's coming out onto Imperial Esports. So far, Pudu hasn't gotten any offensive stats build except for his Warrior. More than likely, that's going to be his only offensive item this game. He's just going to try and be disruptive. But with the amount of mobility that Deft as well as AJ have, both Ari and Ezreal can get out of range for him to Resonating Strike and kick. The amount of accuracy that he's going to have in order to get the Insect combo back into the team is going to have to be pretty substantial, since both of them can dash out. So really their main damage threat is they have to rely on Merch's Unstoppable Force. That's really what we have to start looking for. Having good groups and clustering coming out of Imperial Crown and following that up with the Chaos Storm and Bullet Time is really what's going to put this game in their favor. Otherwise, if they keep playing on the back foot like this, Imperial Esports has a they have a better siege. With the amount of pick that they have, they can siege underneath the tower and translate 1 or 2 kills into tower kills and just further multiply the lead that they have. Looking more into the builds here, we have Master Dunzo grabbed the Static Shiv after his Essence Reaver here. Trying to get out quite a bit of damage. Apologize. Let's see what else is going on here. All right. Finally got him back into the game. And here we go. Norm's back into it. Was able to get his hamster back spinning to fix his internet. So looks like we're going to have here again the split push coming out from Renar. Keeping the pressure here on bot lane. since they know that their last tier 2 turret is up in the top lane. That's where Imperial Esports is going to position the majority of their team. They're going to try to make something happen up here. The dredge line connects there on Sailor Venus from Boy Wonder, and he just melts. Wow. All of the damage being done. Ooh. Just misses. With the Unbreakable Will not coming at the beginning of that, he's able to really take quite a bit of damage. All based on just a CC there from Boy Wonder. His dredge lines have been completely on point this game. Very impressive from him. So we're going to continue the siege, and the poke coming in from AJ, just being annoying, throwing through mystic shots. While Columbia and Def waits in the wing. Oh boy, sorry, I don't know what's wrong. Waiting here, and they're not able... Unfortunately, the wave clear from Imperial Esports isn't quite as good as Imperial Crown. That Victor Q is just really wrecking that entire line. So they're not able to push Imperial Crown's wave fast enough to get their wave into the turret. So it's kind of stagnating here in top lane. But we do have the back coming out from Sailor Venus. Pudu's going down just in time. Everybody's going to be jumping over here. Pudu waits to the last possible minute. Flashes out of the way with an incredibly clutch safeguard just in time there to a ward. How did he drop the ward? It must have already been there. I could have sworn I saw him drop it, but that is a regular vision ward. Oh, any of the tracker's knife gets that. What a nerd. For some reason, I thought he had a different one. No idea why that happened. Anyway, moving forward. So he does have a tracker's knife. Obviously, he can jump to those, because that was an obvious pick. Oops. So, is able to move out easily and safeguard that ward. So that point I made earlier was completely a moot point. Again, Imperial Crown still in the back foot. Going to try to pick up some of their buffs. They got mid lane pushing in all the way into Imperial Esports Tower. I guess HA thought maybe he would scout Baron at the same time as finishing red buff. Kind of a interesting use of the ultimate, but got the damage down in time, I guess. Imperial Esports now is positioning towards the dragon. Going to be an easy take up. And it goes through no problem. Last hit there by Deft. We got a collapse coming in there on the bot side. They almost decided to take it. They move out. The Owlstar was just a little bit too scary. And Merch looks like he's going to keep his life. However, playing aggressive, but really neither of them missing much of any HP after these. So we have Banshee's Veil. Yeah, Banshee's Veil. Okay. And the scared flash coming out of Ibis. He wasn't quite ready for anything that could have collapsed on him right there. So he moves out of the way just in time. Oh geez, another DC. This game is definitely haunted. Alright. It looks like they were able to take Master Dunzo as well as Pudu up in the top lane and take out Imperial Esports top lane turret to try and get a little bit of gold back in their advantage. The deficit still, for the game seeming as one-sided it is, it really isn't. Imperial Crown has all the opportunity to come back into this game. They're lacking pretty heavily on the tower takes, but they are still CSing quite well. Very well, actually, and staying in this game. But we have the catch here onto Pudu. They're stacking the CC just right. But with him staying as tanky as this. Oh, and the... Wow. Wow, that play from Deft. What a greatly positioned Q there. Gets in just that backline and finishes off Pudu. They're not able to completely take down on Sailor Venus. But no matter, he's just going to move back to base. And we're going to have Imperial Esports go through and try to siege this tower again. But you really got to get to the point where you know you can't siege the tower against Ibis. More than likely, a good bet would have been to just, after those engages, just turn around and take the Baron off that. Especially since they have the vision advantage on it now. They have the vision leading up to Baron, as well as vision in the pit. But they're going to go ahead and take that small advantage, take it back to base, and try to turn it to more of a team fight advantage here. We'll see what happens in this little bit of time. Ooh. AJ's sitting there waiting, ready for it. He knows that Merch can go in at any point, an unstoppable force. So he stays just far enough back in the wings. But they still pick up a turret out of it, bringing a little bit more gold back in Imperial Crown's pocket. And they're moving around, collapsing on here just right. They decided not to take it on Sailor Venus. They're going to let them move out of the way and instead just clear the wave here and try to get some of it pushed into the turret. But we do have a pretty significant wave up here in the top lane. Waiting to see Boy Wonder use one of his Banner of Commands here and then transition this tower here into even more of a lead. Possibly take this inhib tower. They had enough minions there to really make something happen, but we didn't exactly get enough auto attacks down to make a significant difference there on the turret. Merch with a fancy footwork, dodging on that first resonating strike. It looks like we're mostly just moving from lane to lane, keeping it pushed up. We already sent Rednar down bot to get that split push going on, and they're going to try to pressure it on all three fronts. Unbreakable Will popped from Sailor Venus. All that CS was just a little too scary. But they sent Merch down to match him, and thus we're keeping it out of stalemate still. A good macro defense out of Imperial Crown is really keeping them in this game. As well as now Malphite being quite an unstoppable force in ability as well as his items. Definitely making him something to be reckoned with as far as jumping into the team. We have the Baron buff started from Imperial Esports. Moving in to take it. Pudu is in range. They're going to have to back off on this one. Ooh, especially with the ultimate coming in from Merch. If they would have stayed, that would have been certain death. Especially with the possibility being so high for Pudu to get a steal on it. Good call in there in order to back off of it. They're going to go in again with Rednar pushing the bot lane in still. Sort of sneaking up behind them. Like I said, that Titanic Hydra is able to help him push in waves significantly, as well as get good damage done on all these turrets. And even good damage done on this Sailor Venus here. He is not ready for the damage coming down on this Shen. And we can see how much he's really doing, just tearing apart these inhibs. But we have, Imperial Crown is going to try to take advantage of this time and grab the Baron buff. Can Norms go in here and steal it? Moves in. Ooh, and not able to secure it. Just misses the smite there. Ooh, and Pudu just misses that resonating strike. But Def was there just in time to move in on him. And the collapse coming out from Imperial Esports. The mechanics in the play are fantastic. We had Rednar tried to go in there and get the stop, get the stand united. But Venus was there just in time to ground pound him into failure. Wow, I probably shouldn't drink beer for this. It was super soupy. So, they're able to pick up the Baron buff on Imperial Crown. and possibly help him with his defense here. With both of their damage dealers being down, though, it's going to be pretty easy for them to move here in here on this turret, even after the stack of all that CC coming down. And we got Boy Wonder playing fantastically. Definitely MVP of this game here. Making all of the necessary CC in order to get his team out safely. Protecting Def just right. And Merch went and tried to get... excuse me, the... what am I looking for? Ground Slam to finish off Def there, but just wasn't able to get enough damage down. And Deft already has the ultimate back up. Master Dunzo just sort of mispositions, gets in there and isn't able to get enough damage done to clear out Deft in time. Although with an IE, he's got to be getting pretty close now. He definitely needs some backup. He can't take the initial charm in order to take out the Ahri. Ooh, and Boy Wonder picks a poor spot to go back in. And Iva sniffs him out. It quickly disintegrates him. Alright, an Imperial Crown grabs, Imperial Esports grabs the dragon off of that. Brings it up to 4, so now we have the 5th dragon here being a real possibility for Imperial Esports. It's sort of a really slow game here. Imperial Esports is trying to really take their time and only take the winning advantages and very slowly push into these turrets, which we see has translated into only 1 inhib so far, despite them being 5 to 6k gold lead the entire game. Imperial Crown is going to try to get a little bit of a ward coverage there in their own jungle so they can really see the way these rotations are going to be coming out from Imperial Esports in order to defend from them. We see Merch there just take virtually 0 damage almost from Deft, even after landing most of her abilities, still comes out virtually unscathed. So we see the tanks really start to shine in this part of the game here. Although the damage on Imperial Crown is really lacking, more than likely that's what's causing so much of the trouble for them. Because we have virtually everybody on Imperial Esports team has a damaging item keeping them in it, with the exception of Norms on Rek'Sai. But this collapse here on Merch, he's just not able to get out. He uses the Unstoppable Force, but now we already have Deft in place. Ooh, and the ultimate is not able to come off in time. A very clutch heal as well as Stand United coming out from Rennar, but he stays in line too much, not able to cancel his Stand United, and pays for it with his life. Kudu moves in there. Ooh, not able to get enough damage down. Kudu safeguards out of the way of the Ezreal ultimate as well as the full combo from Def there on Ahri. And escapes with his life. So again, Imperial Crown, they're still staying in it. They've shown they can make plays. It's only finding them on their terms rather than trying to make a play on top of a misstep from Imperial Esports. We're really going to need something more on the offensive to make this game move into their favor. Alright, so we have Imperial Crown still. Let's take a look at the item builds again here. We had Rennar picked up a ZZ Rot portal there on Shen to further, stereotype himself as, that's not the word I'm looking for, something like that, to further cement his identity, there we go, as a split pusher. He has a full split pushing kit. Rek'Sai having a little bit of damage, I guess, amplification from Dead Man's Plate, if you can count that. But mostly a defensive. He's really just there as a CC bot, throwing out those unburrows and really getting in the face of Imperial Crown and trying to stop the bullet times and things like that, all the other damage that can come out from them. Deft as well as AJ having fairly standard damage builds, with the exception of maybe Abyssal Scepter being a little bit of an off pick. But against their team, it fits very well. As well as AJ having a fairly standard Ezreal build here. Going blue build, putting out a ton of damage. And they don't really have a lot of answer for AJ. He's been caught out one time. But for the most part, his positioning has been fairly solid. And he just stays in these fights and just puts out tons of damage. We see right there, one Manamune Mystic shot, even on that full tank Lee Sin. Takes out a good maybe 10% of his HP. With it being up every 2 to 3 seconds, that's going to very quickly put him at a disadvantage. Still have here, Imperial Esports is having trouble finally finding, it looks like he found the ZZ Rob portal. And Merch is going to completely ignore him as he takes it out. But Rennar does a decent amount of damage here with the Undying Grass procs as well as Titanic Hydra. He's going to get him down to about half health before he's able to return to base. Which is going to spell trouble if he's going to keep pushing this wave. He's going to push it into the inhib, get a lot of inhib damage down. Ooh, and boy, Wonder able to make this super clutch dredge line down on the Master Dunzo. But that stasis field is down just in time to stop the rest of the team. A very good Alistair pound right there. Knocks up Boy Wonder, and Merch is able to get the Unstoppable Force down on Deft, but doesn't have the HP in order to really turn the tide of this fight, and he goes down. Oh, and we have Boy Wonder again with the Nautilus dredge line going through there. Man, this guy is on fire. Really pulling through and making the plays for Imperial Esports. We have here only one death down from there, but this is leaving Rennar down here in the bot lane to shove it right back in. And Imperial Esports is going to have their eye on this 5th dragon. It's going to be 5th dragon, Baron, and more than likely game if they keep it up this way. This is a fairly late game for a patch 5.24 for it to still be going on. Although both teams are fairly heavily a early to mid game comp. So without the heavy late game damage, it's really sort of making this game stall into the late game. Rather than having these super heavy damage dealers that can one-shot burst and completely end the game, with maybe the exception of Victor as well as Ahri. But even still, both of them aren't able to completely take down that much damage. We have Rennar there, not able to take both of them there in the bot lane, so he moves out of the way. Deft there tries to make the assassination attempt. Ooh, and we have the smite comes through just in time. Sailor Venus tried to go in for the steal with just the pulverize. Not exactly the best idea, as Rennar is going to try to sneakily move behind and grab out that bot lane inhib. But he knows he's got to stay alive. He needs that. He's going to need this Baron buff when it comes through to their next push, and he needs to get minions up into that inhibitor. We have Pudu here in the top lane trying to make a little bit of a defense, but they really are running out of options here. Both inhibs are going to go down at the same time. The Baron buff minions as well as the last tower in the mid lane. That's going to be all 3 inhibs dropping at the same time. This Dragon 5 buff is really proving to be crucial into winning this game. They have to make something happen right here. Imperial Crown's going through. Wow, great CC coming out, but you see that bullet time only lands on Rek'Sai and Norms, not able to get the damage done. And Imperial Esports collapses on the rest of the team. It's going to get a clean ace to finish off the game here. Great plays by Imperial Esports. Just able to really stack the damage down, get the CC in the right spot, and close out this game. They played it safe and methodically to a point where it took 48 minutes, But they kept a steady lead the entire time, with only this last half of the game really getting the gold lead to be over 5K. But for the majority of the game, only about 5,000 gold lead. Very well played by both teams. A fairly even match. I say even only because they earned their early game advantage and kept it there. They didn't exactly increase an advantage, with only it decreasing at certain points until the end game, of course. So great game out of both teams. Really fun to watch. Great plays. I think as far as if there was an MVP that game, I would definitely vote for Boy Wonder there on Nautilus. He definitely was very crucial in the majority of those matches. So well played out of both teams. And yeah, that puts the win. I believe this is the last win for Imperial Esports. I don't know, give me 1 second. I'm going to check our channel for more info. 1 moment, please. Throw on some music here in the meantime. Alrighty, guys. So yes, that was the last game from Imperial Esports versus Imperial Crown, and Imperial Esports does pull out the win in the end, fairly convincingly. And yeah, thanks everybody for watching Imperial Esports. We'll see you again next week on Monday with our match. Our first match of the day is going to be Imperial Crown, so we're going to see these guys again versus the Imperial Templars. So yeah, thanks again everybody, and I hope you enjoyed the broadcast.